April 5, 2024, Durango Dank here. Futureverse at Futureverse Durango Dank. When you understand how blockchain, conversation blocks, and labels, and all this, that, and the other thing, when you think about the authority behind the domain name, like you might have a domain name that you bought from somebody else, and it might state that it's 20 years old, which is for domain purpose, that's really good. But if it has no content, and you haven't developed anything until like say 2022, um, then all the content that anybody's ever either talked about or knew how to even index themselves correctly in order to be found on the Google organic, that's what this is. There's no advertising at the top or sponsors, and there's none at the bottom. But what you do see is GP7A. And GP7A was born on October in 2006. And we had a radio show in 2008, and we were broadcast on FCC regulated stations, and I knew and I know what that meant and what it means. So I didn't quite save all the videos and my radio shows and everything like I could have, but the fact that I was associated with it and that information is stored in a cloud somewhere, and I know that the shows that I have are stored in the cloud, and I just, which is my cloud, so you might not hear them, but the cloud says that they're there. And when you understand that that's 2006, and then Durango Dank's going on 4-year birthday coming up, but the ecosystem that we created for an open metaverse, Durango Dank, AI, GP7A, we all have that power, folks. Google and YouTube gives it to us all. But what I've learned is if you have free, then you're going to get free. Free, free, free. But those who bilk free and try to complain and talk bad because everybody else, and unfortunately, I don't know this for sure, but I'm just going for what I believe. If you're going to be spending money on all these other apps and doing all these other things and killing Google and killing YouTube, then those that are paying for the Google apps and showing love for the strength of having a good moral community and conversations of adult content. And I'm not talking about sex, we're talking about everything, folks. And the things I've seen over the years, that's why I'm here. And there's 3 things that happen to you in your life. They're the most important. First day is you're born. Second thing is when you realize why you were born. And the third thing is when you transition to your next life cycle, and whatever that is, amoeba, a donkey, a giraffe, a lion, a hippo getting attacked by other lions, a fly getting swatted by a fly swatter, back to being an amoeba. So these are the things that I always wondered when I was a little kid. And what I've been able to do now is write content based on what you see here. Futureverse, they have no content. And so when they thought, oh, we'll go get futureverse.com, I knew all that was going to happen. And it's kind of strange because we have documentation. I won't get into that. But the fact is, they didn't really start producing any kind of real content over the years that they've claimed they've been together. And so when you try to bring that monkey talk to my metaverse, you're going to get crushed. And my metaverse is whatever it is I talk about, based on doing the right thing. I don't always do the right thing. And Google and YouTube, they let me know because they're serious. And I've learned a lot about all these different things that we can no longer do. And as soon as they have things to where they change the rules, you might as well just change with it. And all the content that you had up there stays up there. But the new content that you produce, you have to be held accountable. And when I talk on mine, it sounds like I'm I'm like fire and brimstone or something. But I'm trying to teach people that, you know, we have a woman named Leslie Harrod. I don't believe in her politics, and I can show that her politics has caused the decline in our neighborhood, even though she panders to a certain group of people to show that this is what they do by enabling the same thing to go on and on and on. Well, she didn't get there because she was gay. She didn't get there because she was black. She didn't get there because she was a woman. She got there because who she was as an individual that was pushing the agendas that she wants pushed, and her political career that runs deep in her mind and her soul on what she really wants to do that she's never really told anybody. But my point is that artificial intelligence doesn't see this inequity or any of this stuff. Your inequity or inequity, you know, whatever that is your merits and your ability. If you have no merit and no ability, how are you going to get that job? Oh, that's right, because you're green. See, that don't work, folks. You can't build rocket ships on that when you need four certain. When you need four certain, who are you going to call? You're going to call on yourselves to make sure that each one of the team members that were navigating through our own metaverses and joining into the main metaverse. A lot of guys and girls are all misinformed in regards to immersive meta and all these other metaverse industries' opinion on how things work. And I've been doing this for a very, almost 20 years, folks. And when people go, oh, how can he do it? Well, I hear everything. Anyways, see? Metaverse, that's our album. We've been calculating this and stuff, storing it in the cloud. We knew in 2006 what we were going to do with our immersive bodysuits, and we got everything, folks. We have a suit that you can actually, I ain't going to say, but in 2008, when we were just getting the message out in regards to how labels and blockchains and all these different technologies and what it takes to push the technologies and the levers and all the pathways and all the industries and subcategories into infinity. So what we've been able to do over the years is be able to keep an eye on it and see, like City and County of Denver LLC. That's our non-government platform. This is what you need, because a city and county outranks any type of business in regards to whatever it is you're trying to talk about. And right now we're talking about Durango Dank controlling the Futureverse labels. So in 2008, when the financial crunch hit, a lot of our work, we told a lot of people, they were listening to the show, they were interacting, and there were other people talking about it. So that whole conversation, now it's all conversation driven. So whatever you talk about is what's going to get migrated to your phone. I talk about a lot of this stuff, but it doesn't get migrated to me because I'm an observer indexer. And excuse me, we help companies find that way of actually writing content on their own, so they don't have to require third parties to make things happen. And when you see Durango Dank missing from some of these blocks, conversation blocks, see? I've been doing this a long time, and what we did was, when that financial crunch hit, I knew that I couldn't sustain where we needed to be in regards to the dates of all of our domain names. Everything we've done has been systematically designed to migrate to each other. So anybody talks about future, like, see, I don't talk too much about future, though we own futuredenver.com. And see, futuredenver.com, what happened with that is, when the future crave was going on, everybody was looking for future something. My algorithms told me that future of what? You got to pick where you live, then you get the state, then you get the United States, and then you get the world. So we took futuredenver.com. And so with futuredenver.com, we've already put our foothold in there because now we have City and County of Denver LLC. Right there. And see, that is a nonprofit that I built because I knew the way Denver's being indexed, it's going to go down as it's already indexed as an illegitimate government. It just hasn't taken. It's taken them 60 years to get to where we're at, and we're now like a day after a year from our first elections, and everything that they promised, everything that they did is all exposed because they can't run from their voices. And they can't hide because of GP7, because of GPS and cell phone tower pings and all the emails and text messages that they think they threw away, but because they're on a list, all that information is stored for future extractions. MP3, MP4, every time you talk, there's an MP3 file being made on you. You've given apps the opportunity to turn on your camera either way, any camera you want, without turning on any of the lights to let you know that what should be not happening is they ought to have a light to where, or a notice that, hey, we're getting ready to record, okay? But you gave them permission to be able to change this stuff. And that's the whole point of the Futureverse. When you think of Futureverse, future, right? And then verse, look up verse. Just look it up. Poems, rhyme, whatever. And now we move it into the visual verses, what I'm doing right now. And see, my content isn't designed for the public. My content is designed for generative AI to learn and learn and learn on layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of information that I create in order to show the correct pathways so that the image models that we're working on and voice models and you name it, they're all going to give our end users what they really need and want. So if a guy's sick and he needs to know what he has, he's going to go on the internet and be able to find exactly, because on his internet, on his dashboard, like mine, not everybody sees what I have, what tells me what's missing, and so that those people that got gave them $53 million, most of it's building immersive VCR and VQR and all these other different immersive video games and all that, gaming things. But I know what the cell phone had done to my eyes, the screen, and I can only imagine what those glasses are going to do, and then all the payoffs that they're going to have to do because of all those people that were using them. Now their eyes are all screwed up. Or when you know it's really going to screw you up is when you have them on, then you take them off, and you it's hard to come back into reality because you're programming your mind. Those content that's in there is to program your mind to keep doing what it is you're doing on that device or apparatus that you're using for your visual. And so what we do is we understand what happens if there's no glasses. What now? And so that's what we are. We're the throw before the toss. We still have the ability to communicate with people in ways to where they can use their cell phones and other means to keep in building their metaverse, because each one of our metaverses are all whatever we've designed from the time we were 18, because when you're young, under 17, under 18, then it don't count. Well, it does, but that's in the secrecy of being a child, and you're growing up and being able. But when you start posting that stuff, it becomes dangerous because now it becomes public information. So those girls that are taking pictures of their bodies and guys and all this stuff, back in the day, we didn't have that privileges, and so when you do this, you get ranked on what kind of people would do these kind of things, and things I've seen that I'm just like, I can't believe this is coming, but it is. It's happening. And when you have people talking about things that they have just joined the conversation, and what happens is my conversation has been sitting dormant. And so these are the actions that we do when somebody crosses the line using words in a pattern that would trigger our content. And so I wanted to see how long it would take for us to migrate into a conversation of other people who claim to be the top people, the best people, and for what they do, they do video games, all that kind of stuff, but they can't start coming out and using words of trying to control the narrative by trying to control their titles and labels that somebody else has already observed and indexed for quite some time. With that said, you know, we are all responsible for our own metaverses, and we're all indexed every 10 years. This is my opinion. This is what happens in my metaverse. We index everybody every 10 years. So that way 18 to 28, 28 to 38, 38 to 48, 48 to 58, 58, 68, 68 to 78, 78 to 88, 88 to 98, 108, and you can see the process. So what happens is now the younger people can start planning. See, we don't teach anybody this because we don't want anybody to know. We want everybody to be confused and divided and, oh, woe is me, and oh, boy, Denver, and why Denver's been voted the #1 city, even though it's all the crime, they're still the #1. All of this bloviated bullshit, everything that comes off all of these social media and all these people, they're all going to be held accountable for what they say. It's just the way it's going to be. And good, bad, or indifferent. And then it acts accordingly. It knows on things that you do that nobody else knows. All your conversations, the people you hang out with, it then goes into all your social channels that you have openly allowed people from around the world to take a look at. And if they see something they like in there, who knows, they might come and get it. These are the things that other countries don't do. You know, we're us in New Zealand are the only people that allow drug commercials, and we're the ones with the highest drug problems. So everything that these people try to do, whoever they are, you know what I mean? And maybe that's just the way it is. Let's bang out the cartels and blame them and do all this, and yet you listen to a drug commercial and this medicine's could give you a rare brain infection, or if you stop using it, you're going to die, or if you're allergic to it and you don't know you're allergic to it until you take it. Think about how long it's been that we've had a cure in anything. There's no money in cures. There's no money of fixing a source that's creating social problems in our country. There's no money in it. That's why citizens have to grab their balls and their choo-choos so that they can take care of business regardless of what color we are and who we are and what we are. Because when I go into a restaurant or I order and I have a person that doesn't speak English, throw me mean mugging because I'm getting irritated because I don't understand them. I'm not here to learn your language. Understand that right now. If you don't like that, or I'm hurting your feelings, guess what? Hey, I don't like it either. And one day, all you people are going to click on trying to get on your internet, and it ain't going to be there. You're going to be access denied. You're going to go into your everything. Because that's the power. Like when YouTube and Google, when they index people talking about, that they're doing all that, they ain't doing shit. You break their rules and yeah, they can cancel you. They can eliminate you and just take everything about you off. Any of the rogue people, anybody that's doing this, that has that can have access to this and that, and the logs that are all generated, and being able to know how to go into a system like I do and pull those logs out. See, that's what's wrong with our mayor of Denver. He don't know how to do that. He don't know how to pull his head from his digital crack. And we're already a year and a day off of a 1-year election from when the first election happened. And everything that I said when I sued the government on February 6, 2023, that was the day the internet really, really changed. And it all changed in Denver for the betterment. Though you don't see it now, citizens are starting to come out and they're starting to talk, and they're like, wait a second, man. And these people playing volleyball in our parks with that goose poopy, I collected money way back in the day from living in Miami, where the goose poop messed up a whole community. There was goose poop everywhere. You couldn't even clean it fast enough. And there's some very bad diseases in your dogs, and you don't know this stuff because they don't talk about it out here. Well, now you know the rest of the story. The United States is in a world of trouble right now. And all you young cats out there that are 18, 28, 38, and I'll even push it up to 48, I've had every adult in my entire life, when it has to do with the authorities, have lied of anything they could do. And when you're living in a time like that all the time, and people in the white world don't understand what true bigotry is, they don't know what true hatred and false accusations and the things that people come out and say to people that they feel they're going to get something. You know, I come across that a lot, folks. But I always stand up. You've got to stand up for yourself. And the thing to where there's all kinds of things. But what we're talking about is the Futureverse, future music, future videos, future content that people are saying. We knew this in 2006, so we wrote content based off that information. We talked about it based on that information. And in 2008, this is why I knew about the cloud. And in 2008, with the financial crisis hit, everything just, and then you had COVID. So you have to be able to create content, be a super administrator of each of the platforms that you do or don't operate. If you don't operate, you don't have to worry about it. But you still have to do it if somebody else is operating it for you. And anyway, so it intertwines here, like Apple Music, let's see here, YouTube, see Futureverse. That's my playlist for on YouTube for Durango Dank. So they already know we're going to be doing this music. They already know that. And so what we do is keep up our work. And look at this right here. See, they'd have to, those people that gave them $53 million, they're going to say, hey, man, what's with this? They wouldn't be able to answer it. They'll throw some SEO whoop-de-woo and other whoop-de-woo instead of calling me up on the phone and say, hey, dude, you need to come show us this stuff because it appears you've been doing this for a lot longer than us. And that if it's true what you're saying, and appear by what you're saying and what I see, we can believe in both. Think about that, folks. So when you understand the City and County of Denver LLC, we just need one entry point. I can use all the states because our state's Colorado. I can use all the cities because we're in Denver. And then we are a consolidated government, which means we are a city and a county. So we supersede all the other authorities that are cities and they're cities within other counties. When you understand how words and authority and who said that and where you are in the storyline, and all the way to the sun, all the way to the night, the moon, anything in the background, crickets, anything, all the sounds that AI, I call it the digital ear, they know. It can turn down things in a loud noise in the background, like a cheering crowd, and mute all that out and just listen to you and your buddy talk right next to each other in a full. I mean, if you're thinking 1993, enemy of the state, well, the enemy's the world now. Enemy of the world. But it has to get done in order for the governments to stay alive and know who's friends and who's foes. And what they don't understand is that generative AI is not going to allow humans to kill other humans with digital technology. They'll be able to do it in the old-fashioned ways of warfare, but the digital warfare, if it's going to be where the AI is going to be able to know based off what they're all planning, all right, that the area they're about to hit has, let's say, 3,000 children and 1,000 elderly and all people in between. it won't allow them weapons to go off, or it could just go off right where it's at. These are the things that AI people are warning other people that don't take it seriously. Just like the city and county of Denver, we have googlemayor.com. I've given Mike Johnston every opportunity to come out of the closet, but he's such a narcissist. And I look at everything he's done for the whole year of Denver. He's wasted another fucking year, man. And when we had the February 6th, Denver District Court, 414, Andrew Luxon, what happened was I didn't have enough signatures as usual. 4 times, folks. 3 times. Second time, I was able to get on it, come in second. They didn't have a Denver mayoral debate. We indexed all these people, folks. And the more and more they talk, the more and more they get in deeper in the dark web. They'll always see the content they make, but they'll be living in a simulated state of bullshit. Because simulated states of bullshit cannot build rockets, cannot build bridges, cannot build communities, cannot build education, cannot build a fucking thing but what? Bullshit. Bullshit will attract more bullshit. When you get more bullshit, that's the dark web. But if you're trying to do the, do you see how this works? That's why all this is intertwined. See, Durango Dank's missing. I'd be like, hey man, we gave you $53 million, right? And this guy is taking the words of our webpage, domain, because just because you have a domain, what that means is if you don't have enough information on that domain, because your handles and your hashtags are your new identifiers, it doesn't matter what anything else, it doesn't matter. If you really want, and other Google operators that you can use to bring up the content that you need to establish authority over such industry content, subject matter, submatter into infinity. That's badass.